Dr Lee Hwok Aun from the Malaysia Studies Program at ISEAS-Yusof Ishak Institute joins us live. Thank you, Dr. Lee, for your time. Now, how did the recent pandemic reveal that the political structures as they stood in Malaysia needed reforming, and which areas emerged as needing it the most?
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for that crisp summary just now. So I think, as you said, it's been a period of political instability, and Parliament, has seen these crossovers and all sorts of political shenanigans and changing loyalties. So I think that goes to the heart of the problem, not just about structures, but I think also about the behavior of the political class. And I think it reached a point where I think they needed to address it. They felt that the political class, on the one hand, needed to respond, right, to, I think, very widespread anger and discontent with what was going on. So they have done something in the form of the anti-hopping law, which I think is a partial solution. It's addressing the most blatant forms of defection. So someone who leaves a party to cross over to another party, that will be outlawed. That person would be automatically disqualified. But I think it's also still a too high stakes a game, in that, with the first past the post system, it's sort of winner takes all. I think that's another aspect that will, should be brought to the table for consideration as for a structural solution. On the political behavior side, well, it's not something that really can be regulated, by law. And I think, the best hope is that the voters will send a very strong message about the kinds of the character and the principles and values that they would like to see, and integrity in their elected leaders.
Oh, that is the hope, isn't it? That they will convey that message to the leader. But I guess the question is COVID likely to be a voting issue for Malaysians, or do you feel that the bread and butter issues of cost and inflation have pushed COVID into the sidelines?
Yeah, I think it's about how the electorate, right, perceive their or how they're experiencing their current living conditions, and how they perceive the effect of COVID. And I think it's not so straightforward. I mean, in general, we see that the parties are campaigning all in a much more forward-looking, so presenting a vision and how they're going to solve the problems. But of course, it's still the lingering effects. And I think with not just COVID but post-COVID, it's sort of, there's this a bit of a recovery period, but people are also feeling that they're not really experiencing the benefits, high cost of living, higher inflation, stagnant real wages, and that these conditions generally would favor the opposition. And you see that Pakatan is is sort of hammering on that front, and present with blaming the government for the current economic woes. It's quite curious that between Barisan Nasional and Perikatan, and remembering that they were in the coalition that took over in March of 2020, first led by what is now Perikatan and Bersatu and Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin. Now they have been highlighting the achievements in their COVID response, especially the Prihatin packages, which were quite substantial, and clearly they think that it was well received and something that could actually help their cause. But it's sort of more retrospective and quite specific to the earlier period, which was a stricter lockdown, and also where there was a lot more of the generous assistance that was offered. And I think, as well, as people look back on COVID and how bad things were, there's also the possibility that the electorate will feel that, well, actually things are not as bad now than they were. And it's not just all around as a simple matter of success or failure, right? There was definitely widespread discontent that some things that were inadequate, but Malaysia did extend a lot of assistance in wage subsidy, in loan embargoes, and also the vaccination program. So it really can work in various ways, and to advantage and disadvantage to different parties depending on how they play it.
That was a very concise explanation. So we do thank you, Dr. Lee, for that time to speak with us. Dr. Lee Hwok Aun, speak to us live from Singapore.